going on, you guys? My name is not Isaias.
My name is not Cisco.
And today is another episode of the Range Talk podcast. Title is pending, but we're going to be talking about something that we saw on Facebook, actually. So there was this debate of why pro paintball players seem to get more respect, I guess is the correct word, versus pro airsofters, and pro in quotation marks.
Yeah, this was a post from US Airsoft that he posted out.
Shout out. And it's a very interesting topic because I think I'm going to say it outright. There isn't really a professional airsofter.
Not in the same sense, right? Like, not that, like, obviously there are those that work in the professional setting for airsoft,
yes.
Right? Of course.
Yeah,
right?
like you and I.
You and I, of course, right? Us and many other people that work in the industry, you know, you could regard us as, like, I guess, technically professional airsofters. If you really want to, like, stretch it. But in all seriousness, there isn't a professional airsofter in the same sense that you would find a professional paintballer or, say, pro athletes, right?
Yes, exactly.
I think the biggest determining factor of this, right, why there is no such thing as a pro airsofter or professional airsofter, there's not really any sort of pro circuit that goes around or that it really exists.
Speexactly. Even though there are tournaments that are more well known and are somewhat spread out, like the Speed QB tournaments, I do believe they hold those across the U.S.
And even though it's a recognized league, like it's an official like league, it's not the same as, say, like MLB, right, the MLS, or any of these other sports organizations, right, where they, like, you know, you're a player that's literally getting paid to show up to practice and to play, right, in like tournaments. You're not getting paid for that, right? Obviously, you know, if you're also doubling up as an influencer, right, or you're using, hey, this team is sponsored by whatever team, right, then yeah, there might be sponsorship deals, but it's not like it's a regular rate. There's no going rate for, like, you're getting paid to represent our brand, but paid how? Maybe in, like, you know, we worked with other teams before that have, you know, we sponsored, and the sponsorships can range, right? It can be anything from, like, you know, hey, you're like, we supply you with all the BBs needed, we supply you with parts, you know, discounts and stuff like that. Like, that's a thing that can be for sure, like, achieved, but I don't know if that necessarily would make you a professional player, if that makes sense.
No, I definitely agree to that because, well, here's the thing. With, like, a professional athlete, as you said, they are paid to actually play their respective sport. And paintballers, there are teams that are paid to show up and play and win competitions and stuff. There isn't really that type of setting in airsoft where there is a sponsored player or a sponsored team that is getting paid to win games.
Yeah, right? There's no like standard, right? Because every team can have their own, like, you know, thing. Like, yeah, of course, teams will have practice, and there's not diminishing the skill level, by the way, of any players out there who compete in these leagues, right? Absolutely not, right? You guys are, like, you know, absolute nightmares to come across the field whenever I've played against some of you guys, right? Like, you know, when I go to N1, right, and I'll see some guys that are actually on a team, like, and I know them, I'm like, this is gonna be an interesting night tonight. I'm gonna get my cheeks clapped tonight, right? Like, it's pretty bad, right? And I get my ass handed to me, but. You know, even though teams will have tryouts a lot of times, and they will have practices where they need to show up, right? There's a level of dedication that's there. You know, it's not like they are getting paid to show up for that, like any regular professional athlete would. And yes, professional athletes also will be sponsored individually, of course. Like, I mean, freaking how many athletes, like, you know, the Subway have under their belt? That's another thing
that's actually valid. That's
something that I thought about. Can you imagine if Airsoft actually was? Can you imagine, like, I don't know, like, dudes from like these like SpeakyB teams going on a Subway commercial?
Dude, that'd be hilarious. That'd be absolutely hilarious. But no, I completely understand what you're saying, and I agree, because also with like a professional sports league, there is a ranking system across the nation that is saying, hey, like, I am fighting for top spot and you are ranking in this. And of course, again, the tournaments that are in existence currently, they do that, but not to the extent where it's recognized like industry wide.
Yeah, not like paintball. Paintball actually does have that. And
Yeah.
I think that's another reason too, like because there's an actual official ranking system, like you said, that's able to determine like, okay, who's where on the list, right? Where are you on the board, right?
Yeah.
For paintballers, that's something that does exist, like still to this day, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's
Absolutely. And another thing with paintball, it's funny because back when they got picked up by
The X Games?
X Games, they became, I think that's really when they became more of a household name, because during that time, when X Games was really, really popular, there were a lot more people that were tuned into it, not just for the paintball side. I think paintball got a lot more exposure because of X Games, but because of other sports and stuff that weren't really recognized elsewhere, like BMX and skateboarding and all the other whatnot that's in X Games. So it's very interesting because in the sense of being a person that gets paid to play, I don't think exists currently.
Yeah.
But what you said earlier about being someone who gets paid in the airsoft industry is technically a professional. Like you and I, even I would extend that to the airsoft influencers out there, the YouTubers, the Instagrammers, the TikTokers out there. I don't know how you're able to do TikTok without getting banned, because we got banned within like a month.
It was rough. It's been rough.
Yeah, you still post there too to edit the videos for us.
Yeah, like a lot of those videos I use like for my own personal one, but I'm like, you know what, this also would also make a good like for YouTube, like for our main YouTube account.
Yeah.
And so I'll just do that.
Yeah. So, they're getting paid in revenue from their content that they're putting out, not necessarily getting paid to play, even though that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're playing, they're releasing gameplay videos, or they're filming someone else, or they are doing reviews and stuff like what we do.
Aside from that, though, like I think the biggest like question that the Facebook comment was asking is like, it was more so a level of like respect and like recognition. Do you think that's the only contributing factor as to what? Because because we just admitted it right here and right now, right a little earlier, that skill has nothing to do with it, right?
Yeah.
Skill has nothing to do with being like a difference between a paintball player and a putting quotes, because it doesn't really exist, a professional airsoft, what people would normally associate as a professional airsofter. Do you think maybe that there's just a level of like, I don't know, like skepticism that comes when someone's like, oh yeah, professional airsoft, right? That recognizes that. Do you think there is like an issue because it's not as popular, because it's not as mainstream, that it's just automatically kind of dismissed as like trivial? Or
honestly, I do think that plays part of it. I think airsoft not being as well known as paintball is going to be one of the like most determining factors. Like if I were to say I'm a professional RC car racer. I don't know if that exists. If it does, let me know.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I'm fairly sure too. But if I were to hear that personally, I'd be like, you do that professionally? Like how? What's the process? Are you getting actually just paid to race and
do you think
do
though
these
that
things?
you asking the questions though of like how? I don't know if that's necessarily a sign of disrespect though. That's more just like for me.
It's curiosity.
Yeah, like whenever I tell people that I like work in the airsoft industry, right, when they start wondering what that is, right, or like, hey, how do you get paid? Doing airsoft. I tell them like I don't get paid to play.
Yeah.
I work. I'm a social media host. I manage a store and everything, right? Yep. I explain to them, but they generally have a level of curiosity there, and there is some form of respect, because otherwise, I feel like if they didn't really respect it, they would be like, all right, whatever, right? And just, kind of disregard it. But I feel like maybe, do you think asking them do you think people might be misidentifying their questions as a form of respect? Because I think some people do.
It could be, depending on how the question is phrased and how it's being interpreted by the person the question is being asked to, right? At that point though, that's all speculation on the person individually, or the persons individually asking questions and being received questions, right? But if, like for me personally, being in the airsoft industry, playing airsoft for the X amount of years that I've been playing, if I heard someone say, I'm a professional airsofter, I would think, how? Like, do you work in the industry, or do you work for a manufacturer, or like, I wouldn't immediately think they get paid to play.
Yeah, I think if you know a little bit about airsoft in general, right? I think in general, like if you hear anyone say they're a professional airsofter, I think like that immediately raises like red flags in both of our heads, right?
Yeah, it's just like,
hey, elaborate.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
Like, do you work in the industry, or are you a content creator that focuses on airsoft? Like, there's a couple of different things. Versus if I hear I'm a professional paintballer, I'm like, oh, you must play in the tournaments.
What's your ranking?
Yeah, what's your ranking? What's your team name? You know, this, that, the other. Just like an NBA player would, or you know, other organizations like that. So,
speaking of like Subway, like sponsorships, right, and deals, you know what else came into my mind when I think of like major sports leagues and stuff? Cards.
Cards?
Yeah, like professional trading cards, like Topps and stuff.
Okay.
Can you imagine like Topps cards but for airsofters?
Oh no.
Actually, I kind of want, if someone actually could do that, right? Whoever's watching this, if anyone's good at like Photoshop, make a Topps card of Cisco. I want to see that.
Stop it.
That'd be hilarious.
Stop it.
I really want to see that.
You want to know what's actually hilarious? Back when I was in elementary school and I played soccer, they had little trading cards of us, like in uniform and stuff. It was hilarious.
Sweet. That's cool.
My mom has one. I don't know how many were made. It was just hilarious. I remember seeing that. I was like, ugh, like why? She's like, I think it's cute. And I was like, well, I don't. How about that?
Instead of Tops, it's Hops.
Yeah. It's Bops. Yeah, but no, it's very interesting because here's the thing. Like, you brought that up, like getting like merchandise made, like trading cards, right? There isn't one unified organization that all airsofters sit under. Right, there isn't like the official Airsoft League or official or National Airsoft Association, like the NAA, right?
No, yeah, like there's again, like there's no official like one umbrella brand for all of us to like really get under, right?
Exactly.
Again, that's another big factor about it. I think right now the two biggest, I guess, leagues, I guess, or like generally would be like, obviously if we're talking about competing, right, in a competitive league would be like close thing would be SpeakQB.
Yep.
Maybe new KWA Tactical League a little bit.
I mean, they are rising in popularity and notoriety. Shout out to KWA, new banner right up there, and shout out to the Biohazard boys. You guys be killing it out there. I would agree to that, but you know, even then, those are divided between themselves. Those are two separate entities. I know there are local mom and pop leagues for, well, not mom and pop, but local leagues for baseball, basketball, whatever sport is in your area, right? Like, you could play, quote unquote, unprofessionally in a league.
Like an amateur league of some kind, yeah.
Exactly. But then, you know, the big name everyone knows, NBA, MLB, you know, like, I'm not into sports, but those organizations,
sports ball.
Yeah, those organizations.
I love sweating.
Are recognized, not even just nationwide. People know about the NBA worldwide.
Yeah.
Right, like where these players are also becoming somewhat celebrities as well. Now, I'm not saying that like paintballers are celebrities as well. Like if someone in Russia, you know, like encountered a professional paintballer, I'm fairly sure they'd be confused out of their mind, or, you know, somewhere random.
I would have to say somewhere random, because if I remember correctly, I feel like there are multiple countries outside of the U.S. that still also play paintball as well. Like, like 99% sure most, like paintball's huge. Like,
yes.
Actually huge.
Yes, compared to Airsoft, like Airsoft is like right here, and paintball's like up here, right? In terms of notoriety and being known.
Not in terms of fun, though. Not in terms of fun. I can't.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I used to play paintball before I started Airsoft.
But I can say that, too, because I did a little bit of paintball, too, and I was like, yeah, no, Airsoft's way better.
Oh, no. You know, the first time I played Airsoft, I was thinking it was going to be like paintball, but the biggest thing is the difference in the community. Paintballers, I'm calling you, a lot of you guys out. A lot of y'all are toxic, bro. Super toxic. And that's from personal experience of playing paintball previously. Like, especially when I was younger, they think of just like, oh, whatever, little kid. Like they just, the disrespect that they had was very insane. I was just like, come on, like we're all here to have fun, right? But then considering like if the guys that I had encountered were out for the day trying to train professionally, that could be something completely different.
I'd have to agree with you there as well. And to this day still, like that's something I feel like, again, I feel like most paintballers aren't, but it's hard to say that it's not prevalent.
Yeah, when I say a lot of airsoft or paintballers are toxic, I'm not saying everyone, okay? But
it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, there are toxic players in airsoft as well. Honestly, you're gonna get a lot of toxicity anywhere, like that's a hobby or sports thing. I think it's more of a competitiveness within people.
Here's another big question though. Like we're saying, like there is no professional airsofter. Do we want there to be? That's right. That's another question too. I think that do we even want there to be a professional league for airsoft? It sounds nice. It sounds cool on paper, right?
It does.
Because then again, you're thinking like, okay, now airsoft is a household name, right? Maybe, again, completely hypothetical here, right? Let's say, for the sake of the argument, Ben Shapiro, what if airsoft was to get to that same level of notoriety as paintball? What if it were to become like the next thing, right? That's like featured on mainstream television, right? That's aired worldwide. That'd be sick, right? That'd be awesome because then we get more and more people into this hobby.
Yep.
But now we're introducing an element of competitiveness. So whenever I see tournaments going on, especially when I go to like my local fields and stuff, there's on regular pretty common to see like actual arguments, scuffles, dare I say even fights going on during these tournaments, again, between players from one team on another team, again, arguing against the ref, claiming, oh, they bribed you, you called this and you didn't, why did you call this out? It becomes a whole thing, right? I don't know if I necessarily want that for airsoft. I'm conflicted because I want airsoft to grow. I want airsoft to get big. But at the same time, I also know that a lot of people can't really handle competition, like healthy competition. They just don't know what it is. It's all have to be like me, I'm the best, all this. And I don't know if I necessarily want that or if that jives well with the airsoft community.
See, I do agree with what you're saying. However, there are a few things that need to be addressed in like that professional setting. Like what you said, I do think if airsoft was able to get to the notoriety of paintball, that would just be great for airsoft in general, right? More airsoft guns, more players, probably more fields will open up, more stores, it'll just be able to expand.
Even then though, I think that I just noticed another problem too with that as well. Because airsoft would become essentially so competition driven, I feel like we would actually be seeing less and less variety in airsoft as well. It's another problem that you actually brought up when you're saying more airsoft guns. I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, maybe not, right? Maybe everything would, right? Everyone's worst fear would only be like ARs or high kappas. Yes, other platforms still exist, but realistically, we're already seeing like being certain platforms not popular enough in terms of sales coming over to the US, so now a lot of customers that wanted those different platforms now can't get it because it's all competition based. And if you want to go competition, you're going to have to go with like the AR platform or the high kappa.
Well, I think that is definitely an argument, like an arguing point. But I think on the other side of the coin, I think for companies that really support their product and for aftermarket companies that make upgrade parts, I think that puts a level of like it puts like a fire on their ass, but like, okay, I need to be able to support my specific model that we manufacture and get it to those levels, right? So maybe on the other side of the coin, we'll see these other guns that weren't really sought after originally become more popular. It's a possibility. It just in the vast realm of.
The reason I'm skeptical is because I see that happening in like other industries as well, where there's like competition, right? I'll look at, say, for example, like cars, right? Anytime I see any sort of like, I don't know what the exact league is. I've only seen like a couple of clips, right? And I was talking to Brennan and a few other guys, when we're watching like all these like drifting competitions, right?
Yeah.
It's the same platforms it's the same like Nissan like S like platform like chassis being used over and over again. Yeah, you can see some other stuff there as well, right? But for the most part, you see the same build platform, the same chassis being used over and over and over.
I understand
again,
that,
right? Then it's like, and it makes sense, right? It's literally built for that.
Yep.
Right, there's so many options that exist for it in terms of aftermarket support. Yeah. Right, and you can go with the same thing for any other discipline of like cars or like racing or competition. Right, they're gonna go for the platform that's going to be the easiest for them to work on.
I absolutely agree with that, and that's why we see the M4 reigning dominant for AEGs and we see the high cap reigning dominant for pistols because they have the most aftermarket support. And I think at that point it does come down to like each player individually, like because they're hardcore, like I hate the M4, I love my AK, or it's like I'll only run my G36 ever, like there are those guys out there. And I was trying to make the comparison in paintball in my mind just now, and there are different types of paintball guns as well, not just the hopper fed like speed trigger paintball guns. There are the pump action paintball guns like Stitch. I was talking to him yesterday. He used to play paintball professionally, and he was like, yeah, like we did this pump tournament where he took one of the like the top places, and he won like one of these like handcrafted paintball guns from back in the day. But then there's also mag-fed paintball guns, and then there are also paintball pistols as well, which is really, really interesting to see because I'm not into paintball anymore, but I wonder if there are specific tournaments for mag-fed, for pistols, for pumps.
Yeah.
And then, of course, what we all know is going to be those super built out, being able to like feather the trigger, what migrated from paintball to airsoft, right? That is definitely a realm of possibility because that could open up different divisions in like a national or even worldwide airsoft organization. Like I'm the best shotgun player, I'm the best pistol player, I'm the best like even like sniper rifle or regular AEG. There are a lot of things to consider with it, but
you got my mind working right now. I'm like in my head. I'm like, okay, like obviously, like I don't know if I'm torn about it, but another part of me that wants airsoft to be more competitive, right, to be more mainstream. I'm thinking like, oh man, these tournaments would be so dope to watch, right?
Oh,
I would love to see, right, like a shotgun like class, right, where it's just CQB only environment, like arenas, right?
Yes.
Shotguns only. It has to be pumped specifically.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Just seeing a bunch of guys going with like a bunch of like scatter guns or like TM870s, right? Like, and it's not even limited to gas. You can go gas or you can go spring.
Yeah, dude. Like, could you imagine? Like, here's one thing that I thought in my mind. What if in the tournament setting, in your requirements for a team is you all need to be running a different class. One's a rifle, one's a shotgun, one's a pistol, so on and so forth. Kind of like how there are different positions on a sports team. Like there's the forward, defense, so on and so forth. So that would make for such a dynamic gameplay because you really need to work with your team to play to each other's strengths and know who can do what and know who has the firepower to be able to handle specific situations.
I would want to see another game mode that I had in mind. You remember Gun Game from Call of Duty? Every time you get a kill, you like upgrade.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so kind of something like that where it's kind of like 3-gun, right? Where pistol, shotgun, and rifle, right?
Yep.
First round, it's going to be started off with pistols only, right? Whoever wins that round, they get to move up. But the player who lost has to stick with that pistol until he can move up as well.
Yeah.
Until like the first player to get a kill with a rifle, that's the player that wins. That'd be sick, right?
That would actually be pretty
right? Because now you're forced to like, okay, I gotta be smart with all three.
Yeah, you have to be diverse. So yeah, oh man, there's so much to digest.
Yeah.
There's literally so much to digest in that. Like, if you guys think there should be a national or worldwide airsoft league or association, let us know in the chat. And what do you think some of the rules or regulations should be? Because I think what I said earlier about having different classes or like different brackets, I guess, for specific airsoft guns. I said sniper earlier. Now that I'm thinking about it, probably not. That's probably going to be really boring to watch. It's probably going to be really, like, entertainment-wise, I think that would be pretty boring to watch.
I think the way you'd have to do it, you'd have to do like what they do at the Olympics, right? Whenever they do like the shooting competitions where it's literally
just the accuracy?
Just accuracy and stuff, right?
Let me tell you, I saw this one video somewhere. These dudes, it was such a weird competition. These dudes were skiing laps.
Yes, dude, that's dope.
Where is that from?
That's Winter Olympics, I believe.
Is that the Winter Olympics?
I believe
they were skiing laps and then they come up.
Yeah, with a rifle and then, yep, and then they'd have to keep going.
And then they do another lap. And I'm like, what is this?
That's cool, man. That's freaking sick.
No, it's actually very interesting. But that, I think, is more of a shooting competition.
Shooting and speed. There's like a combination of both. And I believe that they actually used that. That actually was a method, I don't know, tactic that they actually used, I believe, in World War II, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that during, like, on the cold fronts, they would actually, maybe Alaska, I could be wrong about that, but they would have, like, divisions specifically designed for scouting and patrolling around these ice, like, really barren, like, icelands, right?
Okay.
They'd be going around and be like, all right, let's scout ahead. All right, when, you know, you want either snowshoes or skis, one of the two, there's no other way to move around.
See, it's funny because like knowing, like I've done like some amateur real firearms training before.
You competed.
Well, that's, I didn't do any training for that. But from what I've seen and what I've personally done, a lot of the training is like, hey, you need to be able to maneuver transition. Like one of the things that I did was transitioning from rifle to sidearm, but running back and forth between barricades, right? And the reason for that is, as you're running, your blood's starting to pump, your heart's starting to beat faster, you're starting to breathe heavier. That adds adrenaline, and it hinders the finer motor skills, right? So you need to be able to control, like, calm your breathing down, know when your heart's beating, and just like be able to like adjust to it. So when I saw the skiing shooting competition, I was like, it's so strange, but it's so freaking cool because of how you need to be able to like you could start off, right? You could start off just being here, like laying down, like calm as hell, just tick, 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 get your 5 shots, like bullseye targets. Then you go do a lap.
Yes.
Then you go do a lap and have to do that again. Let me tell you something. You guys that have never done that before, ridiculous. I mean, I think airsofters experience that just from playing. Like, they could be in their backyard, their garage or something, target practicing and getting like super accurate shots. But when the game starts and they ran halfway up the field, they're kind of gassed and they're like, okay. And then they see their shots are doing this and like their arms are doing this shit. And it's like, whoa, where's my accuracy at? I was super good at home, like standing up with the bipod on the table, just did that. Like, I was getting super accurate. Yeah, you were being supported. Like, that was it was a very stagnant, still position. Once you start moving around, just like other sports players, like your heart starts to race, you start getting tunnel vision a little bit. You have to break through that. It's very, very interesting to see.
Oh no, everyone, like, a lot of guys, I know these guys too, especially a lot of the keyboard warriors that love to comment on like gun videos. They're like, no, how dare you bring cardio into this?
Hey, I've been hitting leg day twice a week, my boy.
Hey, you're good, man. I've seen you move. You can move fast.
Thank you, I appreciate that. You wanna know what's funny? I have never been the endurance type of guy, like those guys that can do like just track and field.
Yes.
Like, they just run forever. Like, it's crazy. When I was younger, I was like the sprinter. I was like, I'll beat you from here to there real quick. Like, that's not a competition. But if you say, beat me in a 1 mile, no.
There's a few guys in my water polo team actually that were, because I was always like the sprinter on my team, and I was captain of the varsity swim team. But for water polo, I was always the guy that, like, they would always ask, like, because there was a lot of heavier dudes on their team too. They could shoot hard. They were accurate as fuck. Right? These dudes were good. Right? They're thick dudes, but they were fucking skilled as hell. Right? They were slow when it came to transitioning from offense to defense. So their guy would end up going away and getting close to our goalie. So they would look at me. They're like, please take him, please. I can't. And I'm like, fuck. So I was the one having to go back and forth.
It's probably them not even saying it. They're just probably like,
they're looking at me like, please.
The message, let me tell you.
The look in their eyes is fear.
The look of fear and desperation, I have done that and I have received that before. Like, I am too caught up in everything that I'm doing that I don't have the wind or the ability to say, help me. That's so relatable. That's hilarious. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm actually very ignorant on water polo. Could you explain to me how it is played in the different positions?
Water polo, if I had to like really boil it down as much as I could, very similar to, I would say, soccer. In the way that it's like, there are, oh God, forgive me, it's been literally years since I've been able to go into a pool and actually play. I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe it's 7v7, 1 goalie per side, so 6 players, 6.
Okay.
Attack, defense, right? Obviously, it's point based, so have to score a goal into the actual goalpost, of course. It is, I would consider, a higher scoring game, more similar to basketball.
Okay.
There also is a timer as well. There's a shot timer, so if like nothing happens within that shot timer, right? With possession of the ball, you have to switch positions, or have to switch possession of the ball.
Oh, interesting. Oh, okay.
The way they start off the game, every time they blow the whistle, players line up on each end of the pool. They have to swim, meet in the middle, and usually the sprinters, right, are the guys that are the fastest on the team. They have to gab it on their side, or they can make some type of play and try to solo it if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But the idea is like you're supposed to get dominance of the ball, so the first player to touch the ball has to scoop it onto their side. That was my position.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Okay, very interesting. Yeah, I have never seen water polo.
It's fun. It's fun, man.
Honestly, it sounds like fun.
It's an aggressive ass sport too, though, because like when the ref's not looking, like dude, I got beat up. Like I legit got beat up. Like
that's crazy.
Like I would beat this guy in a sprint like multiple times, and he got frustrated so much so that as soon as I scooped the ball, he like as he was stroking, he like switched his hand from like again normal dime position
to a fist
and just clocked me right in the face.
Oh damn!
That happened multiple times because I would beat a lot of these guys and they'd be mad, right? They're like, all right, take him out. So they would try to fucking punch me.
Yeah.
I got like a couple of like bruises along my head. Thankfully, no black eye.
Yeah.
I got lucky.
Yeah.
I got lucky.
Goodness.
A few players that I knew lost their teeth.
Oh my goodness.
I almost lost a tooth. Actually,
really?
This lower front tooth, I actually almost lost.
Really?
They put me in goal for some reason. They're like, yeah, we just need someone to play goal. I'm like, no, don't do it. Do it. Fuck. All right, I got it. Coach asked me to do it. So I'm in the goal post, right? I'm about to block. Guy takes a shot. I'm like, oh, I know this guy's he's 100% gonna like try something on me, right? He tries this like one specific shot where I'm getting close to him. He rolls over. But the idea is that you're supposed to like kind of create space and kind of do like a rollover shot.
Yeah.
He uses his elbow.
Oh, and
elbows me in the face.
Oh,
and my tooth, it's supposed to look like this. It's bent backwards.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was bent backwards, and I'm bleeding, gushing blood everywhere. Thank God I had braces in. The braces kept it like from falling out entirely, and they were able to bend it back in place, and it healed.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh no. Oh man. Let me tell you something. That's crazy.
And to this day, I'm like,
I would have gotten ejected from the field. I would have got kicked out the team.
I was pissed.
My hands would have been on this man.
I saw stars for a little bit, and then when I came to, I was like, oh shit, I'm underwater, right?
Yeah.
And I came back up, and I'm like, why is it red?
You guys wear mouth guards and stuff, right? No? Oh,
no, we didn't.
Oh man, his elbow must have been muffed up.
Oh no,
he just hit braces.
He had a couple of like teeth marks on it. And he was bleeding a little bit, but it wasn't like super deep.
Oh really?
He felt bad. He was a good friend of mine, but like
Yeah.
he genuinely felt bad about it. He was like, oh, I just fucked up his teeth. It was senior year too, and it was like 2 weeks before picture day.
Oh no.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna look like an idiot.
That's
So anyone out there complaining about their braces, keep it. Don't. It's fine. It might save your life one day.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, maybe not your life. It'll save your smile. It'll save you from having a nice big window on your teeth.
Yeah, dude, that's actually insane. So yeah, that's actually very interesting because, like I mentioned before, I played soccer. What was the league? AYSO.
Yes.
That's the league that I played in.
Oh man.
Oh, did you used to play?
No, my little brother. He grew up playing AYSO, right? He got on a couple like different, like I guess champions like teams. He got pulled from like one league, and it's still within AYSO, I believe.
Okay.
But he would get pulled from some teams and being like, okay, we're putting together this sort of like championship team for this city or for this district.
Oh,
we're gonna go out and
interesting.
travel and compete and everything. So he was always part of that. So
Oh, that's crazy.
The amount of times I've had to go to like random ass like places out in California, right? Even outside of California, I've had to go to like Nevada and be like, yeah, we're competing here. Where the hell is this?
That's crazy. I only played for I played one season, and then I was starting the next season, but I was a little shithead in school, so my mom pulled me out of the season, even though I really wanted to play. It's funny because I think I played at a different field from my local field, maybe like twice. Like we didn't go to like our local like area where we play, because that's where they hold all of like the official tournaments for. Well, I mean, playing in AYSO, it's still like a ranked competition, right? Yeah. And it's funny because the first team that I was on, we went undefeated until the second of the last game before that qualified you for like the tournament or like the playoffs, I guess. And I just remember like we were so devastated because we only lost by like 1 point. Like this other team was good. This other team was
It's the worst when it's just by
good.
1, right?
Yeah, no, we were like, because we went to overtime too. And, yeah, they had got us by 1. We were so heated. And then the coach was like, listen, you guys were undefeated this whole season. Let this sink in. Let this fire burn. Use this to win the next game. We're like, all right. Yeah. Oh no, let me tell you something. Because we still made it to the playoffs, right? We lost I think 1 or 2 games in the playoffs. No. We got second place in the tournament.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, we got second place in the tournament, and the game that we lost, we did double overtime because we were just on each other's ass. Like they scored, we scored, they scored.
Not giving each other an inch.
Yeah, it was so meticulous.
Was that the furthest you had actually gotten for like your soccer career?
Yes, I mean that was the only season that I had played, so I never went back to it just because moved towns during that time. I moved actually quite frequently around that time, and then I just never like picked it back up. But no, yeah, it was absolutely crazy because it was our final match to decide who was the winner. And I just remember like we were like super hyped because the winner of the tournament was going to be able to do a skirmish match with I forget what city they were signed to at the time, but the soccer team Galaxy.
Oh, the LA Galaxy?
Yeah, I think it was LA still back then too.
But no, my family's a huge LA Galaxy like.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah.
We were going to be able to do a skirmish with them. We were like hyped for it. We're like, oh damn, that's so cool. But we lost double overtime. We were starting to get gassed. We thought we were going to be able to get them in first overtime, but we got our asses handed to us. And yeah, we left with second place, but it was definitely a whole lot of fun.
Would you ever consider actually, just because like in general, would you ever consider playing like some of the indoor like soccer like games, like like the little futsal? You ever been to those? They're like small and condensed soccer fields. You ever been to like goals before? It's literally okay. You know how I kind of equate it? Think of like playing at like a public park, kind of like your regular walk-on like outdoor airsoft field, and these are kind of like your tax cities, like your indoor like CQB arenas. It's much smaller fields, right? Less players on the field, but it's way faster paced, like much faster pace. It's still the same game of soccer, right? But I don't think there's any offsides. I think it's a simplified version. It's just meant to get back and forth and back and forth. I think it's like usually depends on the side of the team, but I think at max it's like 5v5 with 1 goalie each, or maybe even 4v4 with 1 goalie each.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah. Would you ever consider going to something like that? Maybe like starting up again?
I don't know if I'd ever do a tournament like that.
Not a tournament, but just like casually like playing.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because that's what my little brother does too, because he's still trying to compete. He still wants to like do the tryouts for LA Galaxy.
Oh, really?
He's still trying to do it, so he's still practicing, he's still training. He knows a few guys there, so it's like, yeah, just show up to these practices and you might be able to get in. So he's really working for it, but just for fun, he'll go to like these indoor like soccer like arenas, right? And it's pretty cool because he gets like a hell of a good workout in.
That's cool. I've honestly never even heard of that. I've been so out of soccer. I mean, that was, I think I was 10 years old at the time. Yeah, so it was a while ago. Maybe if I saw it, I might go to play.
Sounds like a good thing to do with all the homies, right?
Yeah, just to
stick around.
Yeah, absolutely. That's funny. Your brother's trying to try out for Galaxy. Does he watch anime?
Oh yeah.
Has he seen the anime Blue Lock?
He has, and he was just like, when Insert came out, he was just like, oh man, everyone, especially because Japan was actually doing like okay.
Yeah.
At first, right?
Oh yeah.
He was like, I'm so tired of these Blue Lock memes. He was so pissed off about it, right?
I want to be the world's #1 striker. I was like, okay, buddy.
He's not that much of a weeb. He's what is he into right now? I think I got him into Gundam a long time ago.
Yep.
He loves Gundam 00. I think he watched a little bit of Demon Slayer. He watches a little bit of Naruto, but he hasn't finished it. I think he was more into DBZ.
I checked out as soon as he said he didn't finish Naruto.
Okay.
I'm just playing. Oh no, that's funny.
He knows the basics. Like he's.
Yeah. That's mad funny. I mean, here's the thing.
He's like, you know what? I've seen Cowboy Bebop. I too am a weeb.
You know, as much as I as I trashed anime in the Roast My Build videos, I do watch anime. I've said it multiple times during streams and stuff. I think it's pretty obvious that I watch anime. And it's funny, like what people see, like that don't really watch anime, they see like all the degenerate memes, like from the weeaboos and stuff. They just think, oh, it's all trash. It's like...
That's how Jazz views it too sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I mean, here's the thing. There's plenty of that. There's absolutely plenty of that. But there are really good, like, anime stories that could have just, like, if the actors were right, if they had the budget for it, it could have been, like, a live-action story that could have been done very well.
I make the kind of joke that Avatar is my favorite, not Last Airbender, the actual James Cameron movie, right? That Avatar is my favorite anime. It's Princess Mononoke. It is what it is, right? Let's be real. It's Princess Mononoke. Tell me I'm wrong.
Where's the lie?
Where's the lie?
That's hilarious.
I mean, think about it. It's Dances with Wolves / Princess Mononoke in space.
That's pretty accurate. I didn't even try to make that. How did you make that connection, actually?
It's because so everyone was like, oh yeah, Dances with Wolves is basically just a ripoff of Prince Mononoke. That was a whole like thing that I remember seeing on the internet way back in the day, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I can kind of see it. You've seen Dances with Wolves, right?
A long time ago.
Okay, yeah, so you know the idea. And then Avatar comes out, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly where the story's going.
This is hilarious.
And I saw it, and I was like, you know what, this is hilarious. Like, this is absolutely the exact same movie. Absolutely the exact same. It's set in space, and it's awesome, and I don't give a shit.
That's valid. That is valid. I mean, here's the thing. You know, a lot of people think, oh, you rip off other, you rip me off, you rip me off.
All art is referential of something else.
Exactly. At this point in time, in our history, and what's available to us, it is so hard to think of, well, I don't want to say it's hard to think of an original idea, but people draw inspiration from everything. Something can be a muse to others. Like this song could have inspired me to write this story, or this book inspired me to write this song. You know, just different things. Like, there's only so many different melodies and like story ideas that someone has more than likely thought up of. If you think you had a purely 100% original idea that no one's ever thought of, let's face it, it's probably been thought of. It just may or may not have been done already.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think music was one of the things where it's like, you can still 100% make original music, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's like an almost limitless amount of possibilities of like stuff you can make. However, the mindset as far as like creating this one song could very well have come from something else, right? Entirely, right?
You know, Ed Sheeran, I think it was early this year, last year, he went to court because
was it like plagiarism or something?
It was supposedly plagiarism. It was the daughter of Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye was suing for rights or payment for Shape of You because it sounded similar to Let's Get It On, or one of Marvin Gaye's songs. I forget exactly what it was, but it was funny because like this is.
Think back to Marvin Gaye, like what song would he possibly?
So here's the thing: this isn't the first time Ed Sheeran has been in that situation before.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because there are other people that say he ripped off my song, he ripped off this song from years ago, this, that, the other, and then Ed Sheeran in court brought his guitar and shut everybody the F up.
Oh, really?
No, honestly, I respect them a lot more.
What is this like? Okay, the song you're saying goes like this, and then he would be like, "I'm doing this," right? Is that kind of like what he did? Or? So, the main argument that the other people had was the chord progression was the same. The four major chords that they were being used were the same between the two songs. And Ed Sheeran brought his guitar, played those four chords, and played songs from like the past, like every 10 years, like the most popular song, in going past Marvin Gaye before that. He was like, you can't copyright a chord progression. You can't. Yeah.
You can't. These are the four most used chords in all of like pop media. It was like G, C, A, or A minor, and then D, something like that.
These nuts. Anyway.
And yeah, he played all these different songs using the same 4 chords in the same like strumming progression. And he played them all, and the court was just like, it's a valid point.
Right?
That's a valid point.
Like you're literally using like, again, how would you even be able to copyright claim a chord progression in the first place, right? That's kind of like, how could you do that?
No, exactly. I mean, there are definitely some time, well, the chord progression is harder to argue, right? Because it's very popular. It's just like it's, people use that chord progression because it's able to create a melody that's very nice to hear. But I think it gets into the more finer arrangements. Like if someone matches like the specific strum progression,
then maybe,
or the same drum rhythm, or maybe exactly note to note of the piano, right?
Then that I would be like, all right.
That was 1-to-1, okay?
Come on.
Yeah, but in terms of just the general chord progression, you can't really do it, because I think every song that Ed Sheeran had sung, just strumming the same chord progression, or doing the same strum pattern with the same chord progression, he's like, all of these songs had different strum patterns, or different things that made them different, and he built his case like super good, and I was just like, damn, that's an argument.
That's an argument right there.
That right there, like this man.
This is way better than the Johnny Depp trials. Anyway.
Controversial opinion.
Oh no.
I don't think Ed Sheeran is a great singer.
Nah, I mean, I wouldn't say he's a bad singer, but I don't know if I would say he's like great. I would agree with you.
Yeah, here's the thing. A lot of people, I just remember seeing this a while ago. I'm like, I want to be the next Ed Sheeran. I was like, Ed Sheeran.
You want to be homeless?
Facts. So Ed Sheeran isn't that great of a singer. He can hold a note. I'm not saying he's bad, but I think what he excels at is being a very good storyteller with his songs.
You know what a tone and style fits with Ed Sheeran's voice shockingly well. Oh my god, what the fuck are they? Sea shanties.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That works.
Yeah.
You know what? That's funny too. Jazz was watching Game of Thrones, right? She was going through the entire. She had never seen it, right? She's like, I just want to finally understand all these memes, right? So I'm like, sure, let's go for it, right? So we started watching, and of course I would pop in every now and then because I'm like cooking dinner and I'll see what she's watching. And then I was like listening to this dude, right? That's like singing, and there's kind of like this sort of sea shanty, kind of like melodic type of song going on. I'm like, oh, it kind of sounds like Ed Sheeran, right? And I look, holy shit, it's him. He was actually.
Was it really?
He actually made a cameo in Game of Thrones. Yeah.
I did hear about that.
Yeah.
That was like a while ago. I didn't watch Game of Thrones.
It's not good.
It's not?
It's okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, okay, I get it. The first couple seasons were like, I get it. It's not that good, guys.
Well, okay, let me answer this for me. You do watch anime.
Yes.
Okay, so I firmly believe there are 2 different band camps. You either watch Game of Thrones or you watch anime. I haven't given Game of Thrones.
I don't know.
I haven't given Game of Thrones the watch through. I do really need to go through and watch it. But from what I've seen, a lot of people that watch Game of Thrones say they don't like anime. And then
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why.
You know what? I kind of have to agree with you now that I think about it, right? Because Jazz is the same way. She's like super skeptical of anime in general. She's like, I don't know if I want to watch it, right? But she watched all of Game of Thrones. Here's the thing. Game of Thrones fans are literally just Lord of the Rings fans that are on copium. I'm sorry, because that's exactly what Jazz was going through. She's a huge Lord of the Rings fan, right?
Okay.
She's a huge Lord of the Rings fan, right? Like literally, I'll catch her listening. It's either listening to cumbias or other Hispanic dance music, right?
Okay.
Or she's listening to Nerd of the Rings videos on YouTube, where it's literally deep lore shit.
Oh, really?
Deep lore shit. And I'll ask her.
Interesting.
Oh yeah. So in the Third Age, who was in charge of this time, or what was the beef between the elves and and these other races, right? And she's like, well, actually, if we go back to this date, and she'll know the exact date.
That's crazy.
It's almost like me, that level of autism with me in Star Wars, right? It's pretty bad, right? I'm pretty autistic when it comes to Star Wars.
That's crazy. I mean, To each their own. I'm just saying I've never met a person who likes both Game of Thrones and anime.
Yeah, because she would watch Game of Thrones because she's like, well, I rewatched Lord of the Rings and all the Hobbit movies were also pretty terrible. It's like, I watched all of it and I still don't have the fix, right? She's like, maybe I'll watch other fantasy stuff. She's like, let me watch Game of Thrones. Yeah. And she kept watching it and she's like, I don't know, I just can't stop watching. It's not very good. I'd watch.
And then I was like, I love it.
No, even then she's just like, no, this is not good.
But she continues to watch it.
She continues to watch it because she just wanted that fantasy fix.
That's hilarious.
I feel like that's kind of the same thing why there are some people that will get into anime, but are only watching isekais.
Yeah, the transfer to another world sense. Yeah, it's.
I get it. You're a loser in the real world. Shut up.
You're a shut-in. Get out. Just go do something.
What's that one TikTok audio? My brother in Christ, hast thou ever tried to acquire some bitches? Never see that?
Oh, that's a while ago. When was that trend? That was so
I think it was
ago.
like 2 years ago, maybe.
Okay, so let's circle it back to Airsoft. Speaking of anime, for those of you guys that don't know, there are actually some anime series that are about Airsoft.
Yes, as far as my knowledge, there are 3.
Okay, so I think I've only watched one of them from what I remember.
Sagadabadoo.
Yeah,
that one.
Survival
game,
gun game or something like that.
There's 3 in total that I'm aware of. I'm just gonna say it because Sagabagu, right? That's what it sounds like in my head, right?
For those of you guys that know the titles, please put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat. Let me know.
So you can educate us all, and we can all educate ourselves.
Yeah. I only speak footballs per lunar landing. Anyway. There's Sagabagu. There's Stella C3 Women's Academy, which was my favorite.
I know about it, but I didn't watch it.
That one's good. I like that one. You would like that one.
Okay.
And then there's, oh my God, what is it? Ahura X Machine Gun?
Oh, no, that's the one that I watched.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the one that I watched. It's crazy because I think all 3 are sponsored by Tokyo Marui.
Are they?
I think so. Because
I know Stella C3 Women's Academy is.
I know the Haru whatever X Machine Gun. That one is because I saw the Tokyo Marui logo in the credits.
I always, you know what my favorite scene in like whenever I watch any of those animes are? Whenever they actually go to the shops. Like the gunfighting is great, but I love it whenever they go to like an actual airsoft store.
Yeah.
And I just love seeing all the random shit that they have in there. It's like, oh, there's that. There's this gun. Yeah. There's that gun, right?
Oh, dude,
I love it.
It's funny because, you know, we all get like our tactical fixings, like to fulfill the wanting of tacticalness in our lives from different things. Like a lot of us watch John Wick or some action movie or stuff. There are a lot of animes that do have guns involved.
Yes, not as many as there should be.
Not as many as there should be. Like there are the Airsoft ones that we're talking about, but one that was surprisingly good was the anime called Jormungand.
Jormungand was one. Yep, that's a classic.
It was the pirates, the arms dealer pirates.
PMCs.
Yeah, the
PMCs.
Yeah.
There's also, this one is not so much like on that side, but another one was Black Lagoon. Do you remember that one?
Oh yes, Black Lagoon. I think one that's slept on is Gate.
Yeah.
Gate.
Yeah.
I mean, my boy Taylor, shout out. He had his whole car.
He had a Natasha rap of Rory Mercury.
Yeah, Rory Mercury. He's supposed
to be like the Grim Reaper, essentially, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I forget her exact title. Something like that. Yeah, that one's really good
bastard.
too. I mean, that's why I really like the Type 89.
Yeah.
Or
Type 64, I guess. They use both. They use both in them.
Yeah. In the one that we saw that Kurabayashi used was the Type 64.
Yeah, with the Woodstock.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
which is available on airsoftgi.com. By the way, we carry a G&G.
Mm-hmm. And Tokyo Marui makes the Type 89. I'm just saying.
MWS system, which we do also carry as well. I guess I see a lot of those like shows and I'm like, I want more. That's the biggest problem that I have with it, right? It's like I want to see more Airsoft animes, or at the very least let those shows could get a continuation, because I know like 2 of those shows ended, and I'm mad because of that. I don't want it to end because I feel like that'd been really cool to like show people like, hey, there's a great way to get into Airsoft as well. Apparently, you were telling me that RGK was saying that in Japan, there actually are a lot more Airsoft, or at least people who are aware of what Airsoft actually is, or like survival games. Yeah, so it's actually very interesting to hear that, because I do want to go to Japan and explore the Airsoft world when I'm out there. But a lot of people do know about Airsoft out there, and there are some times where couples will go play Airsoft as a date. That's pretty freaking cool.
Honestly, I think that's super cool too, honestly. yeah, it's just different. I mean, airsoft was created in Japan. I mean, I'll say was with quotation marks because there's arguments about that. But Tokyo Marui, obviously, one that revolutionized the airsoft world from Japan. So the world of airsoft out there is very unique from what I've seen just online and hearing stories from everybody else. But I think it is more well known because, I mean, the amount of references that I've seen it in not only anime but other like Japanese pop culture stuff is actually really cool to see.
What else have you seen it in?
So I was actually I saw this like magazine where they were doing like this modeling type thing, and they look like kind of cyberpunk-esque like scout kind of guys that had like AKs and stuff. I don't know what it was for. It was all in Japanese. I couldn't read it.
Damn, I wish I could read.
No, yeah, but it was like it's just like some media stuff. And then of course, airsoft guns when used properly make excellent props for movies and stuff.
You know what the biggest for props in movies, you know what I think the biggest thing that I can always remember when it comes to like airsoft specifically? It's gonna sound weird. Star Wars Rogue One.
Really?
Yes, they were using S&T like ARs, if I remember correctly.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I remember like I have one of those like books where it actually goes over like the individual pieces of technology and in real life what they used to make that, right? I have that book literally sitting in my shelf, and I remember going through it, and it said specifically that a lot of them were, they were using S&T. What was it? What's the gun that they use for the E11 blaster? I don't remember. It's like the Stormtrooper like blaster. They actually use those, and they were using like AR airsoft guns like for the Rebel, like the A? If you guys are gonna have to forgive me, I don't remember the exact model name right off the top of my head. They're like blast rifle that they were using just regular AR like receivers.
Oh damn, that's actually pretty sick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Snap, that's crazy. Well, I think we've gone on long enough. Guys, let us know some media that you like that uses airsoft as a prop. And also let us know how you feel about the professional airsoft reputation, and if there is a professional airsofter, what should the requirements be?
Right. Not only that, do you think there even should be a globally recognized airsoft league or brand name? Do you want airsoft to be more competitive, kind of the same way that paintball went? Let us know down in the comments.
Yep. Other than that, guys, make sure you take advantage of all the sales we have going on at airsofti.com. Currently, there are thousands of products discounted, and you can use coupon code 20th to save an additional 10% off.
Make sure to go ahead and place your orders through Airsoft GI specifically. Keeps the cameras rolling, keeps the lights on, and you'll be automatically entered into the shopping spree giveaway when your order is $20 or greater.
That's what's up. But other than that, guys, my name is Cisco.
My name is Isaias.
And we'll see you guys later.
Take it easy, guys.
Peace, y'all.